Hello, hello. In order to achieve the free flow of goods and services with work and capital between the member countries, they needed to establish mutual politics in areas as diverse as agriculture, transport, and when they were concerned with a far wider range of issues. The wonderful framework of mature trees creates an enclosed atmosphere that unites a great variety of paintings to inspire visitors in all seasons. Spring in the garden is marked by leafing up and flowering of trees and the eruption of the flowers in the bulb meadows and woodland understory. Undergraduates may choose to major in any of 125 academic majors. The university's distinguished faculty includes internationally known scientists, authors, and teachers who are committed to continuing the university's tradition in providing one of the highest quality undergraduate educations available. Extroverts tend to move quickly and try to influence situations directly, while introverts give themselves time to develop their insights before exposing them to the world. Extroverts are happy making decisions in the thick of events, while introverts want to reflect before taking action. Tissues are grouped together in the body to form organs. These include the brain, heart, lungs, kidneys, and liver. Each body organ has a specific shape and is made up of different types of tissue that work together. For example, the heart consists mainly of a specialized type of muscle tissue which contracts rhythmically to provide the heart's pumping action.
Students will need to be in the lecture this Thursday.
Students will need to be in the lecture this Thursday.
Professor Tim Lee invented World Wide Web.
Professor Tim Lee invented World Wide Web.
The subject is complex and difficult to explain.
The subject is complex and difficult to explain.
Universities play major roles in students' lives.
University plays major role in students' life.
Universities across the United Kingdom welcome a range of students.
University across United Kingdom welcomes a range of students.
In your introduction, show you understand the question in no more than 4 sentences.
In your introduction, so you understand the questions and no more 4 questions.
To take this course, students should have basic subject knowledge.
To take this course, students should have basic subject knowledge.
Will those happy days ever be forgotten by you?
All those happy days ever been forgotten by you?
Telecommunication is based on the array of networks.
Telecommunication is based on array of network.
Application forms for sharing accommodations must be completed 2 months in advance.
Accommodation from so in accomplishment hall must be completed in 2 years before advance. Thank you very much.
It seems that science can satisfactorily explain why the universe still exists.
It seems that science can explain why university still exists. The image gives information about city. The primary feature of the image is transportation. Firstly, it shows data about the roads and trees. Furthermore, it conveys information about people and cycle. Moreover, it compares between people and cycle. Some trends are maximum while others are minimum. The picture shows various picture colors and numbers. To conclude, the picture is about roads. The image gives information about average number. The primary feature of the image is annual hospital visits. Firstly, it shows data between visits and per capita. Furthermore, it conveys information about residents and 1960. Moreover, it compares between 1970 and 1980. Some trends are maximum while others are minimum. To conclude, the picture is about residents. The image gives information about number. The primary feature of the image is people. Firstly, it shows data between men and women. Furthermore, it points out information about drama and painting. Moreover, it compares between language and age under 20. Some elements are maximum while others are minimum. To conclude, the picture is about women.
To be a successful entrepreneur, you should have a good idea, but the definition of a good idea varies depending on whom you ask. A great idea should have several features. Firstly, the great idea should be various and novel. Secondly, the great idea should be unique, which means no one has thought about it. Thirdly, it is essential for great ideas to be transformative and productive. All ideas essentially are a combination of other smaller ideas, but this doesn't mean they can't be unique. Merely copying doesn't make anything idiosyncratic. It's the individuality that one puts in which they make a concept stand out. Constant innovation leaves no room for stagnation, and thus adds on the basic idea, effectively making it unique. Unique ideas are inspired by basic things. They are simply extensions of pre-existing notions. And an idea or a concept is unique only when it transcends its predecessor and it serves its purpose in a better and more precise way.
The audio was about successful people. Idea and unique was the main topic of the lecture. Firstly, the speaker told about productivity and individuality. Furthermore, he explained about innovation and basic thing. Moreover, he compared between concept and purpose. In conclusion, the speaker focused on the unique way and the idea. To conclude, the lecture was very informative.
Which is the biggest one, the elephant, the tiger, or the cheetah?
Elephant, elephant.
How do we call a person who is about the same age?
Twins, twins, twins.
What is the top surface inside the room?
Ceiling, ceiling, floor, top.
What do we call a person who studies mystery?
Mysterologist.
What do we call the event in which people move through a public place to celebrate an important day or event?
Freedom Day. Roads.
What do we call a diagram in which an object would appear to viewers if it were cut from top to bottom?
Theater. Drama. Picture.
Well, nowadays there's an increasing trend toward ecotourism holidays. So, what is ecotourism? Well, it's a form of tourism which should not only protect but also actively improve our environment and its cultures. However, many forms of tourism which are presented as sustainable, nature-based, and environmentally friendly are often not what they seem, and this is rapidly becoming a somewhat thorny issue. Governments, as well as the tourism industry, promote ecotourism, but there are very well-founded concerns that in many instances it not only lacks adequate scientific foundations, but is also not viable as a solution to the world's social and environmental problems, which, of course, is what ecotourism is supposed to be about. Many ecotourism holidays are really nothing more than a marketing ploy, and indeed, in the worst cases, can be said to even threaten local cultures, economies, and natural resource bases. The issue is further confused by the multitude of terms to describe types of travel which supposedly protect the environment. Other than ecotourism, we have adventure travel, sustainable tourism, responsible tourism, nature-based travel, green travel, and cultural tourism, to name just a few. So the problem we have here is whether a potential traveler who wants a legitimately environmentally friendly travel experience can make the right choice when confronted with this type of marketing.
Both men and women gained weight, but when it came to race, black women had the most rapid weight gain, followed by white women and then black and white men. The weight gain was just a few pounds, but even a slightly higher BMI is associated with weight-related health issues. Several reasons exist for the weight discrepancy between the single and married people. For example, married men and women may be less concerned about their body weight because they're no longer actively seeking a mate. Plus, married people have a regular dining partner, possibly leading to more meals. On the single side, those who are widowed or have gone through a divorce may lose weight due to stress. So while this news may not be good for the smug marrieds, it may be welcomed by Bridget Jones. The single and very weight-conscious Jones may actually have had the easier path to staying thin than her married friends.
All around the world, significant parts of our cultural heritage are threatened by pollution, neglect, carelessness and greed. In learning the importance of our history, we come to understand the need to protect significant remains from the past so that future generations can come to understand their heritage. Life in the UK 2012 provides a unique overview of well-being in the UK today. The report is the first snapshot of life in the UK to be delivered by the Measuring National Wellbeing Programme and will be updated and published annually. Well-being is discussed in terms of the economy, people and the environment. Information such as the unemployment rate or number of crimes against the person are presented alongside data on people's thoughts and feelings, for example, satisfaction with our jobs or leisure time and fear of crime. Together, a richer picture on how society is doing is provided.
For many years, the favorite horror story about abrupt climate change was that a shift in ocean currents could radically cool Europe's climate. These currents, called the overturning circulation, bring warm water and warm temperatures north from the equator to Europe. Susan Luzier, an oceanographer at Duke University, says scientists have long worried that this ocean circulation could be disrupted.
Now, one of the workplace models I want to look at today is telecommuting. Done properly, telecommuting makes good business sense and companies can make huge savings on their overheads. It can also be a very effective lure to recruit quality employees, but companies need to plan ahead and create the right culture for it to work. It's not as simple as just giving everybody a laptop and sending them off to work from home. Management needs to look at training, security, and communication issues before any kind of telecommuting agreement is entered into. Now, a key part of making it work is ensuring that every employee, and that's whether they're at home or in the office, has equal access to resources and, of course, promotions. The last thing you want is to create a kind of us versus them scenario. The arrangement breaks down quickly if people start feeling isolated or limited in their chances of moving up the ladder if they aren't physically in the office. There has to be foresight right from the start in the hiring process. It's vital to screen employees carefully to determine who will be able to prosper working away from the office. Some companies give personality tests to prospective workers, and they do them online or over the phone to see if they're comfortable with that type of setup.
The first 2 years of a baby's life are critical for brain development. In this study, parents were given video-based tips on how best to interact with their babies according to their particular needs. By the age of 3, the baby still had some developmental difficulties, but their social skills had improved, and 2/3 fewer met the criteria for a diagnosis of autism spectrum disorder compared to babies who received standard care. The research charity Autistica said the study was promising and people should not have to wait for a diagnosis for support to be provided. But the National Autistic Society said autism was not a disease that should be cured or lessened. The research team says longer-term studies on more babies using the technique are now needed.
One of the biggest surprises of the internet is we thought when the internet came out it would provide everyone new fundamental tools to learn about the world around them. And it would actually remove the censorship and information that we get. We basically all have our own responsibility to become our own filters. And that's why it seems to me the educational system has to provide those tools, those filtering tools. And that's one of the reasons why I think science is so important, because it's built-in filtering tools. It recognizes that we all want to believe. And as Richard Feynman said, the person you have to question most is yourself. Knowing that you want to believe, when you read something that validates your belief, you should be skeptical of it and your beliefs, and you should look out for other sources. So we have to train people that one source on the internet is not good enough. You have to search broadly to see if it's
Why do we have crime? When will it all stop? It's sad that there is so much crime in our society. It hurts so many people. Most people in the world just want to live happily and be good neighbors. Why do some people turn to crime? Money is a big reason. Many criminals pickpocket, steal, kidnap, or even kill people to get money. There are many terrible crimes in the world. Perhaps the worst is ethnic cleansing. This is a crime against humanity. Many people are killed because of their color or religion. People who commit this crime rarely go to prison. Have you ever been a victim of crime? What do you think we need to do to reduce crime rates? Perhaps you should write.
It followed from the special theory of relativity that mass and energy are different manifestations of the same thing.
Now researchers have stopped light cold and then brought it back to life, or light, in an entirely different place. The Harvard researchers sent a light pulse into a sodium cloud cooled to about 460 degrees below zero. That's the theoretical point where matter stops all movement. The light pulse was compressed by a factor of about 50 million at the extreme temperature, and it actually changed state, sort of like frozen water. But it also split into two forms of matter. One stayed frozen in the sodium, while the other crawled along at just 200 meters per hour. That second form, called a matter wave, contains the exact information of the original light wave. And when researchers sent it into a second sodium cloud a fraction of a millimeter away, the wave was converted back into light. And since fiber optic communications use light, that means that someday we may be able to stop them, store them, and turn them back on, just like a light switch.
Crop rotation is a recognized way to keep soil and the food ecosystem healthy. Now scientists are saying that rotation could be a useful tool in the sea. Researchers tracked a shallow water nearshore species used for food, sea cucumbers. They're easy to harvest and are fairly valuable, but those same attributes mean they're easy to overharvest. The practice has put some sea cucumber species at high risk of extinction, even in a relatively well-managed area, the Great Barrier Marine Park in Australia. In 2004, authorities split the Great Barrier Reef into 154 zones, where each zone was fished only once every 3 years. Fishers rotate through the region. In computer models, the researchers ran through dozens of simulations of each zone, both before and after the divisions took place. The trials revealed that even with an identical and low catch allowance in all cases, the sea cucumbers would recover more fully under the rotation strategy than by harvesting simultaneously throughout the region. In fact, in trials that included rotations, the yield actually increased. The research is in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences. The scientists say their results suggest that such rotation might be beneficial in these kinds of shallow marine regions around the world, particularly for species that are in high demand, because you should not eat your seed corn or your seed sea cucumbers.
Companies spend billions on advertising every year, but they're not just pushing products. They're selling their brand's personality, too. Think Red Bull. What comes to mind? Most people say things like speed, power, hyper, extreme. Well, a pair of scientists wanted to see if the energy drink's alleged qualities would influence people's performance in a race car video game without sipping Red Bull. So they had 70 volunteers race cars with identical specs but different paint jobs. 4 with the logo and colors of a drink, Guinness, Tropicana, Coca-Cola, or Red Bull, and 1 car just plain green. The drivers clocked similar times with most of the cars, but behind the wheel of the Red Bull car, they actually drove more aggressively, scoring either incredibly fast race times or their slowest, by driving recklessly and crashing. The study appears in the Journal of Consumer Psychology. Polled after the game, the players didn't realize the Red Bull image apparently influenced their driving, which suggests marketing doesn't just influence a brand's personality, it could be shaping our personalities too, without our even knowing it.
You will acquire many skills during the academic studies. The temporary library will be closed in the winter break. One student representative will be selected from each class. You must wear closed shoes when working in the lab.